Hey guys, welcome to That Florida Feeling. Happy Friday, happy Good Friday. How's everybody doing this week? Hope it's good. It's been busy. Easter is Sunday, happy Passover if you celebrate Passover. I don't know. It's just been one of those weeks. It's crazy at my work. And then family, holidays, typical holiday stuff. I've realized that a lot of people eat ham on Easter, thanks to the poll. And apparently a lot of people just like Batman. Was kind of surprised there wasn't more of a spread. Just a lot of love for Batman. So, it happens. Thank you to everybody who interacted with the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok pages. As always, thank you. You're awesome. And don't forget to look out every Wednesday for those polls or questions. I love learning about you guys. Apparently you're all just DC fans. So today I want to talk about something that is well known in and out of Florida. It's kind of its own legend. And I'm actually talking about the Villages. Now, we've all heard stories about the Villages. We've all heard rumors about the Villages. We know the loofahs, the old people, the golf carts, and of course, possible STDs. But what really is the Villages? Is it one massive group of retirees that just want to live together in a planned community? Is it just a mass planned community that attracted retirees? Is it just someone's dream of making a lot of money? Honestly, it's actually kind of all of the above. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I started researching the Villages, I was not prepared. I had heard the rumors about the STDs, of course, the thing about the loofah. We've all seen it on TikTok or Instagram about how the colors mean things, and yes, we're going to talk about that. But I didn't realize just how well run or nice the Villages really are. I mean, it's like its own thing. Now, the Villages is a census-designed place in Sumter and Marion counties in Florida. So Central Florida, nearish Orlando. The actual Villages is a larger master-planned, age-restricted community that also encompasses parts of Lake County. So Sumter, Marion, and Lake County are where the Villages is home. And its actual development sits 30 miles south of Ocala and 45 miles northwest of Orlando. And it actually has a population of close to 80,000. I did not realize this many people lived in the Villages. I really didn't. Now, the actual development is about 32 square miles, still expanding south, which currently makes it larger than Manhattan. I didn't realize it was that big. I didn't realize there was that many people. I don't know. I just didn't. And of course, the community center is the Villages metropolitan area, and it is one of the fastest growing areas in all of the U.S., not just Florida. But it's such a cool area. The community is not just one community. It's actually made up of 17 special purpose community development districts that each have their own board of supervisors over them that is made up of 5 elected individuals who are voted on by the landowners of the district. So it's really like its own thing. I didn't realize that there was this much that went into making the Villages the Villages. So where did this start? Where did the Villages start? Who had this idea to create this metropolitan old person retiree heaven? Well, his name is Henry Schwartz. Henry Schwartz is was a businessman from Michigan. When he started his idea, he was actually selling tracts of land through mail orders. Side note, I didn't know that you could ever buy tracts of land through mail orders. I didn't even realize that was a thing during the land boom time. But apparently it was. And apparently the U.S. didn't like it. And so Henry started doing this through the 1960s, and then a federal law was put in place banning the sale of real estate through mail orders in 1968. I tried to find out why. All I found was fraud. So I guess people were buying what they thought the land looked like, and when they got there, it was like a swamp hole, which, I mean, I guess that's kind of the part of it if you're going to buy real estate through the mail, but it's the chance you take. But yeah, it's illegal now. So Henry and his business partner, Al Tarson, were now stuck with mass amounts of land in Florida. Just mass amounts that they didn't sell. So what are they going to do? Well, they're going to develop a mobile home park because it's Florida. So in the 1970s, they began to develop the Orange Blossom Gardens in northwest corner of Lake County. And by the 1980s, the community had actually sold over 400 units. So again, already fast growing in the 80s. Continues to this day. Now, Henry eventually bought out his partner's share in the company and brought his son on board, H. Gary Morse, in 1983. He wanted to expand the community after seeing other retirement communities take off at the time, like Sun City. And he knew that if he was going to do this, he was going to have to be the best. He was going to have to offer more amenities and activities, and he was going to have to make people want to come to this community. So they knew that they needed to begin to upgrade their own community. And when they did, sales skyrocketed in the mid-1980s. They even began buying more tracts of land near Marion and Sumter County just to keep up with these demands. I mean, whatever they were offering in the 80s, just everybody wanted it. And it continues to this day. Now, the community continued to grow and officially changed their name to the Villages, as we know it today, in 1992. The communities grew and changed, and by the early 1990s, they actually had kind of a lot going on in their little village area. By the way, my cat is not liking the weather, so I apologize. You're going to hear him in the background. Just he's special today. But so the Villages had a lot of stuff in their little community. Like they had their own Winn-Dixie. They had 3 golf courses. They had 4 restaurants. They had night activities that included dances that were held in a large tent. And this was in the 1990s when they had 8,000 residents at that time. Now, the Villages has obviously grown a lot more since then. It includes a lot more amenities and a lot more residents. And they actually have 17 community developed districts. And these are special purpose local government available under Florida law. So these districts are able to exist due to these special laws available under Florida. And fun fact, there are actually about 225 communities in Florida that do use this form of government. I'm not going to lie to you. I read it. I didn't really understand it. So I'm not even going to try and explain it because I didn't get it. But just know that there's a special Florida law that has these special purpose local governments, and this is what it falls under. Now, a portion of the Villages is in Lake County, and it's actually under the jurisdiction of Lady Lake. So that part is not in a special district like the rest of the communities. But so one part of the Villages does fall into like a normal town, like a normal, the way they do normal things. They don't have that board of elected people and things like that. Now, the Villages operates the 17 districts, with 13 of the 17 actually covering where the residents own their homes, maintain the roads and paths, stormwater systems, underground utilities, curbs, gutters, and streetlights are all included in these districts. The cost of building maintenances is paid for by annual special assessments, including a property tax bill. Direct residents, including landowners, do elect the Board of Supervisors for their districts. I believe it said it was 2 to 3 year terms. The 13 special districts have as many as 6,800 residents or down to as little as 2,100 residents, with some actually being included in cities, and the cities include City of Fruitland Park and City of Wildwood. Now, of course, there are 4 other districts that are not residence-based. And each of these do a certain special thing. And these other 4 districts are the Village Center for Community Development, which provides water and sewer utilities, recreation, security, fire protection, and paramedic services for their residents. So they really do kind of have their own EMS and their own, fire and their own little security patrol. Although every time I read that, I was just thinking of Paul Blart, or Homer Simpson and his Neighborhood Watch. I'm sure it's much more refined than that. That's just the first thing that came to my mind. Now, for all those amenities, the cost is funded by an amenity and utility fee that is paid monthly. Another of the 4 special districts that aren't residential is Sumter Landing Community Development District, located in Sumter County, and provides recreation and security services to the residents, also paid by a monthly fee. The next one is the Brownwood Community Development District, located in Sumter County, and it provides maintenance for common areas, roadways, and commercial areas within its boundaries. The last one is the North Sumter Utility Development District, which provides water, reclaimed water, and wastewater to residents of the villages who are north of County Route 466A and south of County Route 466. They also provide municipal solid waste disposal for portions of Sumter, Marion, and the city of Fruitland Park. So each of these special districts really does have their own thing that they need to do, and since they don't contain residents, the actual board of supervisors is composed of the employees or the affiliates. So they still have their elected supervisors, or they're not really elected, but they do have their board of supervisors, but it's whoever developed it or whoever works for the developers or whoever's, they're working with at the time. Now, the villages does contain 2 HOAs, the Property Owners Association and the Villagers Homeowners Association. They didn't have much on those HOAs, but I find it really funny because I would think that each of the 13 districts would have its own kind of HOA, but I guess it's not called an HOA. I don't know, it was really interesting to read. Of course, the villages are meant to keep a certain look. They want everything to look normal within their little areas and the same, so they do have restrictions on buildings that has been created for each neighborhood. The restrictions and regulations regulate the design and operational aspect of things like landscaping, repairs, maintenance, where you can place a satellite dish, where you can put your yard decorations, and how tall or wide your hedges can be. Yeah, I can't do that. If I want to paint my freaking front door pink and put a star hedge in my yard, that's my business. Sorry, I don't do HOAs. But they have these rules, and they also have an architectural review committee that controls the composition and consistency of the exterior of the residential properties in the villages. So basically one group of people tells you that it's all got to look the same and this is what it's got to look like. The committee is actually made up of residents that review and approve all alterations and modifications for the properties and the homes built by the developer. They are also an elected committee. This one does serve 3 years. And for some reason, when I read that and I was writing out this part of it, all I was thinking was the American Dad episode where Stan is not the president anymore and Roger takes over and all hell breaks loose. So, sorry, again, that's the image coming to my mind. The Villages is a age-restricted community. So it is older people, and it's only 55 and up that can reside there. But to qualify for an exception to the Housing for Older Persons Act prohibitions against discrimination, at least 80% of the homes within the villages must have at least one person who's 55 and older residing in the home. So, say you're 55 and your husband is 53. You can live there because you have one person 55 and older. Now, the villages does not allow people under 19 to reside there unless special permissions are granted. So I guess if your grandparents had to take care of you and you were under 19, they could get some kind of provision. 3 subdivisions in the villages are designated as actual family units, and they are not subject to that restriction. So, otherwise, persons under 19 can only visit for up to 30 days within a calendar year. So if you're in one of those not family units, and you want your grandkids to come visit, they can't stay for more than 30 days in a year. Not at one time, in a year. Like, they are very serious about not having kids in the villages. Which, I understand, you're an older person, you want your quiet, you want your whatever, and I don't know, some people aren't kid people, so I guess it kind of makes sense. The villages have a lot of amenities and even have 5.7 million square feet of commercial business space with another 3.3 million planned for future businesses. They are definitely growing. Now, of course, the majority of businesses do include things like restaurants, retail geared towards older American, of course, lots of healthcare facilities, but it does include some well-named businesses. Of course, the village is home to 3 Winn-Dixie locations, a Publix, a Fresh Market, Target, Walmart Supercenter, and a Walmart Neighborhood Market. They also have a Citizens First Bank that is actually headquartered in the villages with 9 locations around the villages. So they even have their own bank. And of course, They have restaurants and things like that. And of course, the one thing that draws people to the villages is those amenities and recreation. And they have many different amenities and recreations. It's home to a few different golf courses. And one of the main draws to the villages is the fact that you can play free golf for life. And that's a huge draw for a lot of people wanting to move to the villages. Lots of retirees and people want to play golf. Then they want to live there because once you live there, pay your dues, you can walk on and play at any time. It's actually one of their actual main campaigns to bring people into the community. And it's not surprising because they have 56 courses. 56 golf courses with a total of 729 holes in this community. The majority of the courses are executive courses that are 9-hole layouts, and they are free to the village residents and only charge if you want to rent a golf cart. So if you want to walk on and carry your bag or roll your bag behind you, that's actually all well and included in your fees. Just go do it. And of course, the courses are all owned and maintained by the village's Community Center for Development District. So one of those special districts that don't have residents takes care of all the golf courses. But of course, they're not all like that. They're not all walk on and free for life. The ones that aren't executive courses are country club championship courses. And they were actually designed by like notable golf celebrities such as Arnold Palmer and Nancy Lopez. The Orange Blossom Hills and the Tierra del Sol clubs are both 18-hole layouts, but the other country-style clubs are 27-hole layouts. The residents of the villages are automatic members of the club. However, they must still pay a green fee to play and pay extra for priority tee time. So they still get to play the golf, but, you have to pay a green fee here, whereas the other ones you don't. You just kind of first come, first serve, hit it up and go. The Villages also operates 3 specialty courses, including a Finney Putt and Play multifunctional facility in the village of Finney. The course includes a lake stocked with fish where you can get fishing poles and fish to your heart's just content. They have a walking trail and an area for croquet and lawn bowling. The Marsh View Pitch and Putt is an 18-hole plus 19-hole putting challenge where you can perfect your skills. The Clifton Cove putting course is two 9-hole courses. And, of course, why would they not? The Villages also operates a golf instruction academy. So, say you move there, you're not a golfer, don't worry, you can become one. Of course, the Villages do offer more than golf. They have over 100 recreation centers within the 30 square miles. The neighborhood centers are local adult-only pools, bocce, horseshoe, and shuffleboard courts. The village centers offer family pools, billiard tables, meeting rooms, full kitchens, bocce, horseshoe, and shuffleboard courts, as well as tennis courts, pickleball courts. The regional centers offer residents-only sports pools, larger venues with stage for theater and musical productions, 2 membership fitness centers, and the same courts and amenities as the lesser centers. So there are 3 different kinds: the neighborhood center, the village center, and the regional center. And of course, they all offer different things and different kinds of pools and memberships and fitnesses. And you can find them all over the villages. There's kind of one in every little area. The villages also operates 11 parks, as well as numerous dog parks, fitness and walking trails, and fishing ponds. And of course, they're all taken care of through one of the specialty districts. They also offer forms of entertainment. The community even has its own performing arts center. The Sharon L. Morse Performing Arts Center opened in 2015 with 1,000 seats. And they actually have concerts there, you guys. And they actually have concerts of people you've heard of. They have had people like Frankie Avalon, Willie Nelson, Kenny G, and of course the Beach Boys. Because that's the era of the music that these people listen to. Anyways, they do actually have some interesting, really cool concerts. They also have a black box theater. The Studio Tierra del Sol is a black box theater with seating for over 100, and it opened in 2016. I did not know what a black box theater was, so I looked it up, and I will happily tell you what it is. A black box theater is a theater with flat walls and a stage that can be used for many different types of performances. So it's literally a black box that you sit in and watch things. Name kind of just tells it all. Of course, the villages have other things. If you're not into golf or performing arts, they have softball fields, a polo stadium, a woodworking shop, and a lifelong learning college. They also have 2 17-lane archery ranges. These people have a better life than I do. The community also has nightly activities they have 3 town squares. They also offer over 2,700 social clubs for their residents. Of course, the most popular clubs are location focused and based, where the resident is originally from, dance clubs, genealogy clubs, singles clubs, sports clubs, and gardening clubs. But of course, with 2,700, I'm sure there's some topic for anybody and everybody. And these are actually super popular in the communities, and they offer residents to meet people in other parts of the communities and to not become isolated. So I think it's really cool that they have all these amenities and all these ways for people to meet other people and to not, sit in their homes. And I think that's just so cool. I did not realize that the villages offered this much. Maybe I'm looking forward to 55 now. I don't know. And of course, the villages have their own local media. They have their own news network that's offered on Comcast cable. They have a local newspaper and even a local radio station. So they really do kind of have it all. It's really kind of a self-contained, all-encompassed community. It sounds great. I'm not going to lie to you. When I pictured the villages, I pictured some floral print retirement kind of thing, and it's not. These people are active. They have things to do, places to be, they have everything they need right there. I think this is really cool. And of course, the villages does sound like an amazing place for retirees to work, to continue learning, to live, and to have fun. But sometimes they're not so quiet about what kind of fun they have. I'm sure you all know about the loofahs. And of course, the village is home to many different types of people, so it's not surprising that there are other kinds of recreational activity that goes on in the communities. People get lonely, they want to have fun. Don't judge their kind of fun. I had seen the thing about the loofah colors, and so I had to look it up, and yeah, it's the new way to signal people instead of the pineapple or the upside down pineapple as to what you're into. And if you've ever driven around Central Florida and you see people with loofahs on their car, that's the thing. That's really the thing. The villages have sometimes been called wild retirees getaway, and they have their own code for showing it, and they're not really ashamed of it. So, if you're wondering about the loofahs on the car's antenna, well, here, I'm going to tell you. Different colors mean different things, and the loofahs have been said for a way to find the kind of people you're into. Now, people also say that people tie these loofahs to their cars so that they can find their car, because apparently all cars look alike. But in all honesty, it's probably just the village's guide to swinging. And no, I don't mean the kind on a playground. Or if that's your thing, just do it after dark at night. Just keep it to yourself. The loofahs are a code for people to understand what they're looking for in their communities. And you will commonly see 7 different colors of loofahs. And I will tell you the colors and what they mean. You will see white. White is novice or beginners. Purple. Purple are people who just like to watch. Don't need to touch, just want to look. Pink. Pink is a soft swap, and you like to do it with other people in the room. Blue. Blue is the lowest level of full swap, and you apparently play well with others. Yellow. Yellow are those who want to have fun and are still a little nervous. Black. Black says, what the hell, let's go. Full swap, doesn't care, let's do it. We're going to do it, and we're going to do it now. And of course, there's teal. Teal is bisexual, and they're trying to increase their dating chances. I think that's a cool one. Yeah, got to get it out there. Now, of course, people who work there debate the theory because some people say it's just a way to identify their cars. And there's no way that some of these people can be swingers because most of them can't even stand without assistance. Well, just remember, guys, you don't always have to have fun. You don't always have to be standing to have fun. Just remember that. Plus, whatever old people want to do, just let them do it. And then that actually kind of leads me into the other rumor that always goes on about the villages. that it's rampant with STDs. How did this get started, and is it true? Well, I figured I actually researched this, and it got started when a gynecologist moved into the villages with her practice and made the claim that she had treated more cases of herpes and other diseases than when she lived in Miami. She did later clarify her statement, but that's all it took to get the people thinking that the villages were just a bunch of horny old people having sex nonstop, covering it with their Loofah Code. It's not true, guys. People have been fighting this rumor since 2006 when that doctor made that statement. It's actually been proven that the villages is in no way the top place for STDs. You can actually go look at the statistics on the website for the Florida Department of Health. You can actually go, it's at the bottom, and the villages is at the bottom. I looked it up on their website. I wanted to see if this was true. Yeah, Florida's kind of on the rise for STDs, but the counties that house the villages are not in any way, not even close. In fact, the surrounding part of the county around the villages is higher than the villages itself. So this is really just a case of misquoting one doctor and having it go viral. The villages is amazing. It's full of so many cool amenities. It's beautiful. If you go look at pictures, you know, I've had my mind changed. They have a lot of amenities, a lot of amazing different communities. There really is something for everyone. And of course, even something for Florida Man. And today's Florida Man does come from the villages. I had to see if there were any Florida Man story from the villages. There are. This is the one I found kind of the most funny. Apparently a golf outing turned violent when a 77-year-old man allegedly punched his 84-year-old playing partner in the face, which led to a charge of battery on a person 65 years and older. The playing partners were apparently known to bicker, so nobody was surprised when they got to the fourth hole and they were going at it. But it escalated when the 84-year-old man flipped off the younger man. Oh my God, I can just see it now. Some 80-year-old man barely walking, just flipping people the bird. And the younger man, by the way, keep in mind the younger man is a whole 77, told him that if he did it again, he would punch him. And we all know what happened next. The 84-year-old man just couldn't help it, and he got punched. So basically, the 84 man effed around and found out. So just remember, guys, don't mess with old people because you don't know what you're going to get. I just think that's hilarious. I can just see it now. Just two old men fighting. I hope you enjoyed listening to this week's episode on the villages. I really enjoyed this episode. I learned a lot. I kind of want to move there. Loofah's aside, it sounds like a really nice place to visit. I kind of like the fact that there's not a lot of kids, that you don't have to go far to get your things. I don't know. Maybe this is my goal for when I hit 55. Thanks for listening, guys. If you have a second, please give a review. I really would appreciate it. It just kind of helps to get the podcast out there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow so you don't miss an episode. I hope you guys have a great week. Happy Easter. Happy Passover. Don't forget to drink your water, wear your sunscreen, be nice to one another. And as always, guys, that's your daily dose of sunshine.